Okay, with that said, let's get our guest speak up here. As you can see, the flyer in the background says the road to residuals. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Now, speaking of road to residuals, we got 3 days for our international conventions coming up. And now this gentleman hails from Houston, Texas. You know, his favorite book is Bible, Basic Instruction Before Leaving Earth. I like to call him, he presents the gospel of ACN to us in a way that we can understand what we got to do. But not only that, what is it we have to do to build our business? Not so much motivation, but what do we got to do to go build our business? And with that said, like I said, from Houston, Texas. Without further ado, the great, the one and only Dwight Williams.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I thank you guys for inviting me. I really appreciate being here. Can y'all hear me, first of all?
I love that background, sir.
Can everybody hear me? I'm actually outside. It's a beautiful day. We had a cold front shoot through here. I just wanted to make sure. So I decided to get out into a different setting, change my energy, and get ready for today. Well, I'm really excited, guys. We got an exciting weekend ahead of us, don't we? Is everybody excited about this weekend? Are you pumped about this weekend? Because if you're not pumped about this weekend, then you're missing what this business is all about. Because it's about events. This is how you build this business, with events just like this. So you got to be excited, because this is what the business is about. So let's talk. I'm gonna be brief today. Keep it simple. Keep it super simple. I was about to say the other version, but I'm gonna use the KISS principle. To keep it super simple this morning. So let's keep it real simple. The basic building block of this business is inviting people to see the opportunity, and that is it. I like this. What do I say? Anybody can complicate a thing, but it takes a genius to make something simple. And I think what we often do is we complicate everything because we overthink and we outthink things. But in most cases, success is really a simple journey. The reason it gets extended often is because we, add detours and we, we get off track and we make mistakes. But the truth be told, us achieving the goals that we have set is fairly simple. So let's talk about this. Basic building blocks coming up this weekend is a international event. It's a major event for you to get people to see the business. Now, why? Why is it so important that I get outside people to see the business? And so I'm talking to you about my journey, what it took for me to understand it took connecting to individuals like Mr. Thomas and Mr. Cooper and Mr. Provenzano and many of the leaders that we were affiliated with. It took, and so I'm going to kind of compress all of this into a moment. The very basic building blocks of this business is events like the one coming up this weekend. And the most important thing you can do is get as many people in front of that event as you possibly can, non-negotiably. Don't spend a lot of time negotiating with him, asking, and definitely do not spend a lot of time explaining. I want you to understand when you introduce a person to a concept or an idea, if that person is going to be excited, they're at the peak of excitement at the point of introduction. If you do your intro well. If you do your intro really well, like Mr. Thomas has been teaching and training, and you've been learning from leaders, if you do that intro well, that person will be at the peak of excitement. If in the moment following that, you begin to explain, their excitement level immediately begins to drop astronomically. Now, so the last thing you want to do is go left brain on is it left or right? Is to go analytical when a person is excited. I think right brain, left brain. So when a person is in the right brain mode, you want to leave them there. You don't want to take them left brain, and just let the event do what it does. The events are magical. They are magical because they take people. I always talk about this. Is my favorite leader and marketer is, of course, Jesus Christ. He's the greatest marketer that ever walked the planet, and he never talked about. I'm gonna say this. I hope nobody gets offended by it. He didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about sin and right. He just said, "Hey, the kingdom is this. The kingdom is that." What was he doing? His marketing. What do you mean marketing? He's giving you vision. He's casting vision for you to take your mind to a different place so you can think, hey, you know what? I can do this. I can go there. I can, instead of saying, hey, well, here are the technical steps to get there. No, 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 no. Let the pros do that. I call it good guy, bad guy. I'm gonna let those guys be the bad guys. I'm gonna be the good guy. I'm gonna be the guy jumping around, excited with them, saying, "Hey, man, are you excited as I am?" Jumping around, screaming and hollering. They don't say, "Hey, but what about putting those services in?" Oh, no, no, you need to go watch those guys. You need to let them. Do you even know how to do it? I go to the same place I'm telling you to go. I go to those guys, and I find out how to do it. Why? Because I separate the excitement away from what it takes to actually run the business. Because the truth be told, I talk to a lot of individuals, and most times people get in their own way. We get in our minds, we get caught up in our own minds, and we tend to block ourselves from success because we start overthinking things. I talk to individuals all the time, and one of the things that I do when I talk to people, I ask them, I says, "What's your dream?" And they tell me their dreams. My dream is to travel. My dream is to be free, have financial freedom and time freedom. And I hear this all the time. And so I say, hey, so I always ask them, are you on track to get there? Many people that will tell me, we often start off talking to them about what they do. I talk to them about their dream. I want to keep you right brain. I don't want you to be left brain. I want you to be excited, and I want it to be emotional experience. I want to dig into that side of you, not the analytical side. Why? Because if I can get you to believe you can get there, how we get there is easy. Because most people will. Let me give you an example. If you spend a lot of time talking to people about how to do the things they do, the Bible says that that faith is the substance of what I want, not me understanding how to do what I want. That's not the source of what I want to do. It's not the money in the bank, knowing the right person, knowing the mechanisms to getting it. It's just belief is the key to me achieving the goals in life that I want. And if that is the case, why would I take somebody to the analysis? I let the pros do that. The guys that have been doing it for 20 and 25 and 30 years, my job is to keep their excitement level high and to keep them motivated and stirred and to keep them believing that the thing that they got in their mind for success and for belief and for vision, that they can actually get it done. And so that's really all I do. Residual income. I have the conversation with them when I'm talking to them. How are you going to achieve your goal? How are you going to achieve your dream? Are you on track to achieve it doing what you're doing? Most people have never thought to ask themselves that question. Here's my dream. Here's what I'm doing. How am I going to get from here to here? And in most cases, because nobody's actually had the conversation, they've never thought, how am I going to, you know what? I've never thought about it. These two places don't connect. If I take the time to think about my path, I'm actually never going to get to my dreams. Now, you would say, man, that's crazy. No, it's not crazy. The world we live in keeps us so distracted that we never have time to think about, does what I'm doing every day connect to where I want to go? Remember, the system doesn't care about your dream. Let's be very clear. It really doesn't. The system's greatest goal is to make you believe, is to make you forget about your dream, think you still want it, but get you caught up in doing things that will never ever, that it doesn't matter where they end up. Long as I get you to fulfill the dream I'm trying to get. You're just a means to an end. And most people never say, wait a minute, I gotta take I need to grab the reins of this horse that I'm riding. I got another guy holding the rein of my horse. Thinking I'm gonna go where I'm trying to go. No, no, no. I'm gonna go where he's gonna pull me. And so when I talk to people and I begin to help them say, hey, don't you think the vehicle you're in, you're trying to go to Paris and you're in the United States, you can't get there in a car. You're gonna have to switch vehicles. You need to get on a cruise ship or an airplane somehow to get to where you're trying to go. And so you really seriously got to think about getting out of the vehicle that you're in and getting into a different vehicle that can get you where you're trying to go. And so this is how I get people on these calls. I don't get caught up in the talking about phone services and electricity. No, I don't care about that. Because think about it, Mr. Thomas. If you ask Mr. Thomas right now, in the period of time that he's been in this business, how many times the services that we have changed, what that he could tell you almost every time he blinks his eyes. Now, what does that actually mean? That means it has nothing to do with the product or the service. Don't you get it? It has to do with what they believe. And if they can believe enough, they can do anything to get where they're trying to go. So I think often we get caught up in the left brain. Man, let's keep people in the right brain. I tell people all the time, even Jesus Christ himself, once they became familiar with him and knew who he was, then when he lived, then now this is God wrapped in flesh doing miracles. He couldn't even do miracles because the familiarity breeds disrespect. They couldn't respect him enough to let him do miracles because they knew him. That's why what I do is I'm an excitement guy because they may know me, they know me to this day, they may have just met me. I'm gonna always be talking about the other guy, Mr. Thomas, Mr. Coopers, Mr. Provenzano. I'm gonna be telling them about those guys to where when they so what is edification? Edification is simply raising you. You raise the influence of another individual in the mind of the person that you're talking to. So it's you are in full control. So you can make them believe about that person whatever you need them to, or whatever they need them to believe. So I'm telling you, this building block that's sitting in front of you this weekend is the number one building block to building your business. I'm telling you, just hear me out. Mr. Cooper is correct. You want to become a vice president in this business? Then from the moment I close this call until Friday afternoon when that event opens up, you need to spend all of your time getting people, being very clever in piquing people's interest in getting in that event. I wouldn't do anything else. From my standpoint, there's nothing else to talk about. From this point to there, all you need to be doing is getting people into that convention. And with that said, Mr. Thomas, I'm gonna turn it back over to you.